Hello, everyone. Tosif here, back with another live stream. And I see a couple people already here. If you're here, please say something in the live chat window, because that would help me know who's here. Write something, say hello, write the state that you're from, write anything. Ask me a question. Ask me a question. If you want to ask me a question, please go ahead. My friends, I know that I had said that I'm not going to be doing a live stream today. I had said that. And I wasn't planning on doing one, but then I felt that there are things I want to share. And so here I am doing the live stream. There was a massive event today, a celestial event. Terry writes, I'm in the dark. Must be an eclipse. You're in the dark? Because it's nighttime, Terry. The eclipse is gone. All right. So we obviously witnessed. I'm not saying we as in all of us here or me personally, because I did not look at the eclipse. But I know that we, as human civilization, we witnessed a, an amazing celestial phenomenon, the total solar eclipse. And it's not just the total solar eclipse. It has a title. It's called the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. The Great American Total Solar Eclipse. So anyway, my friends, I had a little bit of a rough day because since the early hours of the morning, I've been having runny nose and headache and a little bit of a sore throat, some allergy symptoms. Okay, so it's been painful. I took allergy medication. I took a nasal spray, and I drank 2 cups of coffee just to allow the caffeine to help with the headache in addition to medication. So I'm doing okay now, but most of the day it was pretty rough. I just, in the morning, I woke up and I felt, I felt sick, but I'm doing better now. I think it must have been the eclipse that was affecting me. I strongly believe it was the eclipse. Um, Terry writes, oh, nighttime, imagine that. And Terry writes, hope you get well soon. Thank you, Terry. I'm doing okay now. I stayed home all day. It must have been the eclipse, maybe the gravitational pull from the moon, and the sun being covered by the moon, that clash. Um, all of that together must have contributed to this headache. But then again, it's time for allergies, so the allergy symptoms are probably just usual for this time of the year. Um, there was a big cosmic fight going on between the sun and the moon. I mean, imagine the sun is supreme in our solar system, and the sun is powerful, and the sun is, giving us light, giving us heat, and moon is this tiny little thing that's floating in space, and that's that orbits the earth. And so this moon, the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, and so this moon comes and hides the sun in the sky. So the sun must be very angry. I mean, it's reasonable. I haven't talked to Apollo. Apollo from Greek and Roman myth. Do you know what I'm talking about? Apollo with his chariot, going across the sky. That's the sun. Anyway, I haven't talked to Apollo, but But I think it must have been that fight between the sun and the moon. The sun said, "How dare you, moon? How dare you block my sunlight?" And so anyway, there was a clash, and the moon kind of said, "All right, okay, I'm moving on," and left. But it was definitely blocking the sun for a full 4 minutes and 28 seconds, as I learned from the news reports. So it must have been that, all of those cosmic forces and the fights and the gravity and this and that caused my headache. Okay, so long story short, the eclipse caused my headache, as well as the allergy season now that it's spring. Terry probably doesn't agree with my analysis. My doctor also wouldn't. I'm just joking. We have to have some fun, friends. Every now and then we have to have some fun, because I always talk about serious stuff. And once again, let me just tell you, the eclipse is over. And so now what? Now we go back to discussing the border crisis. We go back to talking about the migrant crisis. If Eric Adams is watching, if Mayor Eric Adams is watching this live stream, I'm not sure if he is. I'm hoping he is. I don't know. But if he's watching, I just want to tell him, hey, Mayor Adams, don't think that I forgot about you because of the eclipse. Okay? No, I still remember you, and I'm paying attention to all the crazy stuff you're doing in New York. Giving away American tax dollars to the migrants, and same goes for you, Brandon. Brandon of Chicago, Brandon Johnson of Chicago. Brandon, if you're thinking, Brandon, that, oh, Tassif forgot about me, and Tassif's busy with the eclipse, let me tell you that's not true. Okay, I'm paying attention to you, Brandon Johnson, and how much of pain and suffering you're making the Chicago people go through. Just because you became the mayor, you're using your power to take American tax dollars away from the people and giving those to the migrants. And guess what your policies did? You invited all these migrants into your city, and now you've got measles outbreak and cases of tuberculosis. So Brandon Johnson, if you're listening, let me tell you, I didn't forget about you. And I'm going to be going forward from here on talking more about Eric Adams and Brandon Johnson and their crazy policies. Okay. Anyway, so my friends, eclipse is over. So let's all go back to talking about all the things that are bothering us here on this earth. Okay. As much sensational as the eclipse was, the eclipse isn't going to solve all our problems. We still have an economy to run. Government is still going to come after us if we don't pay our taxes. So we have to pay our taxes. And then, the government wants complete accountability from us, complete transparency, but the government is not transparent, especially when you're talking about Chicago and New York. Don't think that, if you get a parking ticket, you're gonna get away with it. Okay, I mean, in New York, in Chicago, when it comes to American tax dollars, the liberal politicians can take our dollars away as much as they want and give all the free stuff to the migrants. But if you park your car in the wrong spot, don't think that the city of Chicago is going to forgive your parking ticket. All right, they're going to come after you, because that's what liberals do. They go after the freedom-loving, tax-paying Americans. They take the American tax dollars and give all kinds of free stuff to the migrants. Okay, and there's no accountability there. Ask them what they spend the money on. Do they have an answer? Probably not. All right, my friends. So the eclipse is over, but I think this is going to have a lasting impact on civilization. I remember the eclipse of 2017. It was not as publicized and not as sensational, and it was not as people were not as eagerly looking forward to the 2017 eclipse as people looked forward to this 2024 Great American Total Solar Eclipse. There was something very special about this eclipse. And let me just tell you, I did not watch the eclipse, okay? Um, like I said, I wasn't feeling well since the early hours of the morning. I couldn't sleep well. I had headache, runny nose, sore throat, which I still have a little bit. I don't know if you can tell. The medication's helping, but I still have runny nose. Anyway, so um, I did not watch the eclipse, all right? I don't even have an eclipse glass because I wasn't planning on watching it, and I did not. And so that's my position. I made a choice. I chose not to watch it, but I did watch the news, and I could see the reporters all excited, and they were interviewing people all excited. There were lots of kids who were eagerly looking forward to it, it seemed, and they were with their parents. And, you know, as you could tell from the news reports, it was a family event. You could see multiple generations, you know, the grandparents and the parents, the kids, they were all getting together, watching Eclipse. You know, there were couples, there were friends, groups of friends, um, and, you know, neighbors. Anyway, people got together. And what's really amazing about this is the fact that it seemed that the eclipse kind of took our attention away from the more earthly stuff, things that are happening on this earth, things going on in society. For example, people weren't really talking about, like, people, it seemed that people forgot about all the problems that we're facing on this earth, like military conflicts and rising prices in the market, unaffordable healthcare, housing issues, um, and you know, political unrest. We have an election coming up. It seemed that the sun and the moon kind of took everyone's attention off and away from all these everyday things, okay? Significant everyday things, but everyday things. And everyone seemed to be just focusing on, oh, the eclipse, the eclipse. I mean, those 4 minutes and 28 seconds, it seemed like everything just went to the back burner. And this was front and center on people's minds, but now it's over. So let's come back to the reality of the earth, which is that gas is still unaffordable. Groceries are very expensive, more expensive than they should be. And we were energy independent when Trump was in office. Now we are not energy independent because of Biden. And we have an important election coming up. If Biden wins re-election, there's going to be economic disaster. There's already an economic disaster, and it's just going to get exponentially worse. And so Trump has to be elected. And, you know, all these things, we're going to have to start thinking about these things again. Let's not forget. I mean, the eclipse doesn't pay your bills, all right? You know, those eclipse glasses are fancy looking, but you're really going to have to keep your eyes on your budget and your bank account balance and your 401k. And these are the things that people should be paying attention to, all right? And as this eclipse was happening, and I saw a reporter report live from Eagle Pass, Texas. So, you know, there was a reporter broadcasting live from Eagle Pass, Texas, and showing the effect of the eclipse from the Eagle Pass area. And I was thinking, man, let's not forget, this is, Eagle Pass is the place that we talk about when we discuss the border crisis. So let's just not lose our focus. But anyway, there's one other thing, my friends, that I want to talk about. But before that, I'm going to request once again, as you are joining, please write something in the chat window. You can see my friend Terry. She's always great about writing comments. And so um, please write something and give this video a thumbs up. Please do that. Give this video a thumbs up. I want your thumbs up like this, all right? Help me reach more people, my friends. See, I wasn't planning on doing this live stream. I announced yesterday, I said, no live stream tomorrow. I said that yesterday, no live stream tomorrow. But here I am. I just couldn't stay away from interacting with you all, from having a conversation, from sharing my thoughts. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to have dinner, and I will go ahead and do a live stream. And so please, if you want to be a part of this conversation, give this video a thumbs up and write something in the chat window. Ask me a question. See, I'm telling you, ask me a question. Whatever you want to ask me a question. All right? Okay. So I'm going to say that there's something I observed from this whole eclipse excitement. Okay, there's a sudden realization that I'm having, which I think a lot of people are having, which is why I'm going to talk about it. And it's something that you have to think deeply about. You know, it's something that you ponder about. Let me tell you what this is. I think because of this eclipse, people are starting to realize the limitation of time on Earth that we face, right? I mean, some people live for 20 years, some people live for 50 years, some people live for 100 plus years. But no matter how long human life is, it's still limited. I mean, people don't live for 130 years, right? I mean, somebody might, I don't know, but I have never seen anyone live for 130 years, okay? I don't think there's anything in recorded history that would say this person lived for 130 years. So no matter how long our life is, we still live for a few dozen decades, and not a few dozen decades, sorry, a few decades, a few dozen years. We live for a few dozen years, we live for a few decades at most, and that's it. So that's the limitation of human life. And so as people were watching this eclipse, I heard a lot of people say, this is the event of a lifetime. We're not going to see anything like this again. This is the event of a lifetime. A lot of people were saying that. I think a lot of young people were also saying, oh, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. So I think what this eclipse did was it brought to people's mind the fact that our time on Earth is limited, okay? Our time on Earth is limited. And so the next thing is that that sense of urgency. A lot of people felt, because our time on Earth is limited, we don't know what the future has. We have to take advantage of this opportunity to view this celestial phenomenon, right? And that's why you could see that so many people, they spent a lot of money. People spent a lot of money just to be able to travel to the locations that are on the path of totality of the eclipse, and to see what's going on. The other thing is, I titled this live stream as "Eclipse is over. Now what?" Now what? People are looking forward. Some folks are talking about the next eclipse. Okay, and total eclipses do happen, but to be able to have an eclipse like this that passes through over a dozen states in America, that follows such a long path on North America, going from Mexico into Texas and going across the country towards northeast America, towards northeast part of the country, Vermont, Maine, New York, and then going into Canada. I mean, such a long path, and going through some major cities like Dallas, Texas, and Indianapolis, Indiana, and other major areas. So this is something that's extremely rare. This is something that's extremely rare, and there will be other eclipses, other total eclipses, but those will probably be in other parts of the world. So if somebody wants to travel to Europe or somewhere else, they might be able to enjoy that in the future. But once again, how many people can afford to do it? Most people can, perhaps easily travel to a nearby state or cross or go a few hundred miles into some other state and take advantages of this opportunity, as people did. But let's say there's an eclipse, and once again, I haven't looked at the schedule of upcoming solar eclipses. But if people want to experience another major eclipse like this, if they have to go to Europe to do it, how many people are actually going to be able to afford that, right? That's the question. So taking into account all of that, it seems that this was the event of a lifetime. Now, having said that, and I see Terry has written a comment, and people bought T-shirts to remember it. Yes, people did. People bought many T-shirts and souvenirs. People had Eclipse-themed donuts, and they bought Eclipse-themed soaps, and I don't know, many things. So, looking into the future, when will Americans have the next opportunity to experience an eclipse on American soil? 20 years from now, 2044. And just when you think about it, 2044, that's when people get a shock. All right? I don't know how many people express that, but I have a feeling that people feel that shock from the inside, like 2044, are we going to be here? That's the question many people ask. And 20 years, we don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. I mean, go back to 2004. Go back to 2004. If you're old enough, go back to 2004, put yourself in 2004, and think about 2024. Did you have any idea what the year 2024 would bring? Any idea? The politics, the economy, your personal life, your personal finances, your relationships, whether it's a relationship with your spouse or with your parents or with your kids, with your neighbors, professionally. Did you know where you would be in 2024? Did you know that back in 2004? I mean, 20 years is a long time, and to place yourself in 2044 and to think, you know what, I'm going to watch the eclipse in 2044. Now, you may very well do it. You may very well watch it. I mean, if we started in 2004 and here we are in 2024, then we will very well be in 2044, and maybe there'll be an opportunity to watch the eclipse. I don't know. But I think this is where a lot of people understand the limitation of time on Earth, okay? And I have heard people say, in fact, I was kind of shocked. A reporter said that, hey, I'm not going to be here. I probably won't be here in 2044. So, people have this feeling like, are we going to be around in 2024? Who knows, right? Who knows? And so this feeling that, life is limited, and we don't know what's going to happen in 2044, in 20 years. This realization is what is a key take-home point from this eclipse. Okay? I think what the eclipse did was we went through a lot in life. We went through a lot in life, and during the COVID outbreak, I think with so many deaths and lots of illnesses and hospitalizations and change in people's lifestyles because of all the government rules and regulations with the vaccine and the mandates and the fear of a virus and the constant using of hand sanitizer, so on and so forth. I mean, a lot of people still don't shake hands. I mean, a lot of people are out there who still don't shake hands. Okay, like previously it would be like you see someone, you shake hands, you make some kind of a contact, right? And professionally, it's a handshake. You shake hands. Some people give hugs. A lot of people don't do that anymore. And so you can see how much life has changed in 4 years. Going from 2020 to 2024, a lot has changed. And in many cases, life is never the same. Life's never going to be the same. Even if you're not scared of the virus, even if you don't believe in the power of the vaccine, even if you, oppose the government mandates, if because I didn't take the vaccine. I opposed the mask mandate. I opposed the vaccine mandate. I'm really not scared of the COVID virus. I've been infected with the virus. I've suffered. My mom was in the hospital. She has suffered. So I've seen the bad side of the virus, but that is not going to make me stop my life. That's not going to make me stop shaking hands. That's not going to make me stop giving people hugs. Okay, I still shake hands. I give people hugs, and I don't wear a mask. Okay, so but we still see how much life has changed. Even if we have not changed, people around us have changed. And so if so many changes can happen in 4 years, imagine how many changes can happen in 20 years. So where will we be in 2044? We don't know. And so a lot of people are saying, who knows if we're going to be around in 2044? It's, life's uncertain, and it's far, far away. And so that's the realization that a lot of people are going through. And so I think the takeaway point is we have to use our time as efficiently as we can, make the best use of the time on Earth. And so I think this eclipse, in a way, was God telling us that, hey, this is a rare event. It's going to be happening again in the US in 20 years. That's a long time. And suddenly we realize, you know what? Every day we're growing old. We're racing forward in time. And we have finite time. And so let's just make the best use of time. Let's be kind to everyone. Let's be nice to people. And let's just love each other, and let's try to have peace on earth. Let me pause for a second and look at the comments here. Terry writes, one last interviewed planned to see this eclipse 7 years ago. Oh, so somebody was planning for 7 years to see the eclipse. Wow, that's amazing. Terry Brait writes, I bought a total eclipse t-shirt. It's all black. That's awesome, Terry Brait. Somebody writes, I love your channel. Today is my wife's birthday. Could you please give her a shout out? Her name is Anita Blackhawk. Thanks in advance. So I'd like to say to the viewer, I see your name. Would you? Oh, so you are. So would you please tell me what your first name is so I can address you? Because I think the name that you've written here, that's not your real name. So would you give me a real name so I can also address you? And you're saying your wife's birthday is coming up. Your wife's birthday is today. Oh, wonderful. So yeah, okay. So your name is Jack. All right, Jack. So Jack is writing that Jack's wife's birthday is today, and Jack is asking me to give her a shout out. So yeah, I'm just gonna say happy birthday to Anita, and thank you, Jack, for being a a nice husband, and for mentioning to us all that your wife's birthday is today. So yeah, let's just wish Anita a happy birthday. So happy birthday. And see, Phil is writing happy birthday. So Jack, is this your first time on my channel? Thank you for your kind words. You wrote that you love my channel, but is this your first time? And how did you find my channel? Oh, you're new. Wonderful. So I'm hoping that you can join. You can subscribe to my channel and stay connected for future live streams. I try to do a live stream every day. And Phil, I see Phil is here. Phil, thank you for tuning in. Phil, are you new? Because I don't believe I've seen you before. Now maybe this is the first time you're commenting and you followed my channel previously, or maybe it's your first time. So Phil, let me know. And Badger Den is here. Wonderful. Badger Den writes, total eclipse of the heart. Jack writes, subbed and liked. Thank you. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it very, very much. So as I was saying, my friends, I think this eclipse made us all realize, Phil writes, I'm new as well, just crawled in. Wonderful. So I like having new people on this channel. So I'm just going to give a quick overview to those who are new. Jack is new, Phil is new. I'm just going to say, I have been doing live streams since January of this year, and I try to do a live stream every single day. And, I usually do live streams at least 5 times a week, okay? And so what I would like to say is that this channel, on this channel, you'll find my pre-recorded videos, as well as, the live streams that I do. And I also have a podcast named Explore and Engage with Anam. And I upload the video versions of my podcast episodes on this channel. And, I am an award-winning public policy professional. I'm a writer. I write letters to editors and op-eds. I have a novel manuscript that I have written that I'm trying to get published. And I write on social and political issues. My writings have been published in many newspapers and publications across the country. And so far, more than 100 of my writings have been published in the last few years. And so, I like to use my channel to share my views with the people. And I also, like to hear from my friends on this channel what their thoughts are about different social and political issues that are going on. So Jack writes, do you like Biden? I am a Trump supporter, Jack. So that's what I'm going to say. And if you want to learn more about me, you should check out my past videos, and you'll know more about me. I am a strong conservative. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and I am a legal immigrant and a naturalized U.S. citizen. So, okay, and so that's just a quick overview. Okay, now I have a website, tossifanam.net. However, my website is going through a little bit of an upgrade, and it's taking longer than usual. And so my website is currently down. And so I'm not going to ask you to go to my website, but please stay connected to my channel, and I'll let you know when my website is up and running again. And Badger Den writes, this is a mostly conservative channel. Absolutely. I am a strong conservative, and I am a freedom-loving American, and I'm a Trump supporter. Okay, so if you want to check out my previous videos, you can do that. Jack writes, I love legal immigrants. Yes, legal immigrants are welcome, and legal immigrants also love it in this country. That's why they come here legally. That's why they go through a lot of paperwork, a lot of background check. It's very expensive, and they come here to work here and to pursue the American dream and to have a good life and to be productive, to contribute to the growth and success of our country. So we welcome legal immigrants. I'm a legal immigrant, but We oppose illegal immigration. Illegal immigration. So that's my view in a nutshell. All right. Phil writes, I love all immigrants, legal and asylum based. Now, Phil, there is a proper asylum process that does work, but what's happening with the southern border is a whole different story, because these individuals are coming in and we don't know their background, we don't know who they are. And, so far since Joe Biden came to office, more than 10 million of these people, the foreign nationals, have crossed into our country illegally. And, a lot of people, they claim asylum, but then what also happens is there are many gotaways, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of gotaways, people who sneak into the country because Biden kept the border open. These people sneak in, and then they are nowhere to be found. They cannot be tracked, and the concern is, who are these people, right? So you've got people who are coming in, millions of them, and they're coming in. They're going to places like New York and Chicago. A lot of them, but really spreading all over the country. And then there are gotaways too, who were never apprehended by Border Patrol. So we don't know who these people are. Um, Phil writes, I believe the border should be open just like it was 800 years ago. Well, Phil, I would have to disagree with you on that. Now, you are welcome on this channel because, as I always say, I like to have dialogue. So you may disagree with me, you may agree with me, maybe you'll agree with me on some issues and you'll disagree with me on other issues, and that's fine because we are a country of free speech, and so we should be able to express our views and have a civil dialogue, and we can disagree and still respect, have a respect, treat each other with respect. And so that's what I like to do here on this channel. So Phil, you may disagree with me, but that's okay. I would still want you to tune in for my live streams and to share your input, okay? So please do that. All right. So Cat007 is giving me a thumbs up. Thank you, Cat007. Good to see that you're here. Terry Brait writes, the asylum system is severely abused. The laws regarding asylum seekers and refugees need to be reworked, so it's not so easy to stay here. All right. Jack writes, it should be legal to make citizens arrest on illegals. Well, Jack, I don't know about that. That's a legal question. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to address that. But you're free to share your views here. All right. Okay. So there is somebody whose title is No Name, 800 years ago, and then a laughing emoji. Okay. So if you're not, so there are some YouTube names here which are, it's difficult to address by that. So I see an individual with no name, so it's hard for me to address you by saying no name. So if you would just write your first name, that makes it easier for me to address you. Like Phil. Phil has his first name. All right. Jack writes, history is not a game. Yeah, Zena. Is it Zena? All right, Zena. All right, Zena. Zena, where are you from? And I have to ask Phil also. Phil, where are you from? And Jack also, please, if you would write the name of the state where you're from, that'd be great. So Zena, please let me know where you're from, what American state, or if you are from outside the country, you can let me know. Phil writes, this is my legal name. I keep it because I have a business. Okay, Phil. Thank you. So Phil, what state are you from? Zena is from Arizona. Jack writes, I'm in southern Canada near Florida. You're in southern Canada near Florida? Canada and Florida are far away. I don't know. Are you in Canada or are you in Florida? Zena is laughing. So Phil writes, me too. Phil, does that mean you're in Arizona? Okay, Jack writes, autocorrect. I'm in Florida. You're in Florida. All right, wonderful. Wonderful, Jack. And so, Phil, are you from Arizona too? Is that what you wrote? Zena writes, connected by water. Yep. Uh, Phil writes, oh, I read it as he was in Florida. Oh, okay. So Phil is in Florida too, then, I'm guessing. Okay. So Jack is from Florida. Phil is from Florida. So it's good to know that I have viewers from Florida. So a lot of the friends here on this channel who participate in the live chat window, they are from California, Arizona, New York, and South Dakota. And now I see that Phil is from Florida, and Zena is from Arizona, and Jack is from Florida. So it's wonderful to see that more and more people from different states are joining. So I'm so happy that you're all here. And I was talking about the eclipse, and I was being a little philosophical, and I'm kind of in a pensive mood. And I was thinking, just thinking about the fact that the next eclipse that we're going to be able to, the next total solar eclipse that we're going to be able to experience on US soil is going to be in 20 years. And so people are thinking, oh my God, where will we be in 20 years? So it kind of makes you appreciate the time that you spend on Earth. And it just makes us, realize that we have to use our time efficiently, and we have to try to create a world where peace prevails. We have to try to get along with everyone and live in peace and have a beautiful world. So that's the idea. Jack writes, Florida is the last free state. Governor DeSantis saved us from Biden partially. Yeah, DeSantis is a great governor, no doubt about that. I always talk about Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott of Texas and Kristi Noem of South Dakota. They are just wonderful governors, and there are some other wonderful governors too. Phil writes, Florida is the best. I don't like paying taxes, so it's the only state I can legally not pay. Phil writes, DeSantis for president. Now, Phil, DeSantis has endorsed Trump, so I'm hoping that you're going to support Trump. You don't have to tell me who you're going to vote for, but DeSantis, if you like DeSantis and if DeSantis endorsed Trump, then are you going to be supporting Trump? I hope so, Phil. Zena writes, yes, I agree with Florida and Texas. Yep. Well, I am in Wisconsin. I don't know. Has anyone on this live stream ever been to Wisconsin? Any of you? Have you been to Wisconsin? If you have been to Wisconsin, let me know. Zena writes, Trump 2024. And then, a big arm and a heart. That's awesome, Zena. Thank you. Badgerden writes, Kathy Hochul is the worst governor in the world. So is Kathy Hochul the worst governor, or is it the governor of Arizona? Or Badgerden, you're forgetting the governor of Michigan. What's her name? Gretchen Whitmer. Don't you think she's the worst, Gretchen Whitmer? Or would you say Kathy Hochul? It's hard to decide who the worst one is. Is it? Let me see who the governor. I'm forgetting her name. Governor. Give me 1 second. So Michelle Grisham of Arizona. Of New Mexico. Sorry, New Mexico. I'm mixing up Arizona and New Mexico. So Michelle Grisham of New Mexico. She may be the worst. Some would say that Gavin Newsom is the worst. Some would say Kathy Hochul. And Kathy Hochul, I mean, she may be the worst. And if she's not, then she's like this close to being the worst governor. I mean, she's in the top 3 worst, obviously. And then Gretchen Whitmer. I mean, Gretchen Whitmer is like a top contender for the worst governor position. Let's see. Uh, Jack writes, Florida has no income tax and just had a $7 billion surplus, while California just set a record $34 billion deficit while robbing everyone. I mean, California is, I always, whenever I talk about California, I say, what an amazingly beautiful state with with like some of the worst politicians that you'll find in America. They are in California, the liberals. Badgerden writes, Kathy Hochul gets her advice from Kim Jong-un. Terry Britt writes, I don't think Texas has personal income tax. I don't know about Texas. We have to pay tax here in Wisconsin. I mean, we have pretty high taxes in Wisconsin. Cat007 writes, the closest I've been to Wisconsin is Six Flags Theme Park in Illinois. So that's in Gurnee, Illinois. That's like right south of the border. So if you just go a little bit north, you're going to be in Kenosha, Wisconsin. All right. My computer is running low on battery. Let me just plug it in, plug the charger in. Zena writes, oh my God, yes, Katie Hobbs. Katie Hobbs is, whenever I think about Katie Hobbs, just give me 1 second here. Whenever I think about Katie Hobbs, I think about Carrie Lake. Like how awesome it would be if Carrie Lake would be, the governor, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? But hey, Zena, since you're from Arizona, there's an opportunity to elect Carrie Lake as your next U.S. senator. So pay attention to that. Terry Britt writes, I mean state income tax. Okay. Cat007 writes, I want to go to Wisconsin Dells Water Park. Awesome, Cat007. You know how far Wisconsin Dells is from where I live? It's like 45 minutes. And I was in the Dells just, what date was it? On Friday, I was in a place called Adams County, Wisconsin. And as I was returning, I drove through Wisconsin Dells. So Wisconsin Dells is just less than an hour from where I live. It's a wonderful place, beautiful place, nice resorts, and lots of good restaurants, scenic beauty. Cat007, will you just remind me where you're from? You've mentioned it before, but I just somehow forgot. So excuse me for that. I ask for your forgiveness for forgetting where you're from, but please mention that. Phil writes, but Texas has a lot of illegal immigrants. Well, Governor Greg Abbott is trying his best to secure the border. Jack writes, Wisconsin is too cold. It is cold, but the summer is really beautiful. My friend Terry from South Dakota writes, my husband just sent in our Wisconsin tax returns. Wisconsin couldn't tax my income because I moved to South Dakota. I was thrilled. That's wonderful. Terry Britt writes, Michelle Grisham of New Mexico is the tiny tyrant. A lot of Democrat politicians are tyrannical in the way they govern. Zena writes, Gavin Newsom takes the cherry on the top. You wrote Kevin Newsom, but it's Gavin, right? So that's a typo there. Gavin Newsom. Terry writes, Terry is laughing and tagging Badger Den there. Let me see. Jack writes, Texas has a superior high property tax. Okay. Phil writes, Texas don't have state income tax because of the super ridiculous high property tax. Okay. Badgerden writes, Cash Jordan should win an award for his coverage of the New York City migrant crisis. I have watched some of Cash Jordan's videos. He has a lot of subscribers. I mean, that's a really popular channel there. I haven't watched a lot of the videos, but I have watched Cash Jordan's videos. I actually don't know Cash Jordan's background. Maybe I should do a little bit more research. But I know that he makes a lot of videos, and he's got, more than 860,000 subscribers. That's a big channel there. Phil writes, I subbed to you. Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you. I appreciate it. So Badger, then just going back to your question about, Cash Jordan, I think, YouTubers and people who are like content creators, but not just creating content for, the sake of creating content. They are actually highlighting issues that are happening in society. So people who are, I mean, it's an alternate form of media. You've got the reporters, the journalists with their press passes, and they are writing stories, they are doing journalism investigations, and they are publishing all of their findings in newspapers, and they are opinion piece writers. But a lot of the YouTubers or content creators on YouTube, they are doing things that a lot of journalists are not doing. So they are going and showing things on the ground, what's happening. They've got their cameras, they've got their talent and their skills to be able to capture the reality on the ground and put it on a platform like YouTube where, anyone can just go access and without having to pay for anything, right? I mean, if you want to watch TV network, you're going to have cable, or if you're watching it online, you may have to buy a subscription. But, on YouTube, you can follow your favorite content creators who are highlighting social and political issues just without having to pay anything. So this is really awesome, and this is a powerful tool. Like, see here, I have been on live TV. I've done a live TV interview, and those segments are usually short, a few minutes, so you really have to use your time efficiently. And then if I'm writing a letter to the editor, it usually has to be, no more than 200 words, or sometimes less than 250 words. Depends on the newspapers. There are guidelines. If you're writing an op-ed, a longer piece, then you're writing at least 800 words, maybe 1,000 words, maybe 1,200 words, depending, once again, on the publication and what they prefer. But you're still limited. But as I'm doing these videos, I can pretty much do what I want. I can do half an hour live streams. I can do 2-hour live streams, and people can tune in as per their convenience. They can leave whenever they want. So this is really a powerful way to spread my message and to learn more from you all, and to share information and to have an exchange of ideas without all the formalities of a formal TV network or a newspaper, right? I mean, those are great, but this is also very powerful. And when you see a content creator who's going to a sanctuary city and highlighting the migrant crisis and what's happening in the city and things from the ground, and capturing the videos and narrating what he or she is seeing on the ground, I mean, that's pretty powerful. So anyway, I just had to share my thoughts on that. Okay, let's see. Terry Brait writes, Badger Den, thanks, I'll check him out. Okay, great. Jack writes, if 10 million birds fly into the country, that's a migration. 10 million humans is an invasion. We actually previously discussed that. We discussed if this is an invasion or not. And so, yes, many people believe this is an invasion. And then one of the viewers on this channel pointed out, hey, it's an invasion, but the Biden administration is allowing it to happen. The government in power is allowing it to happen. So is it an invasion? So, that's the debate. But yeah, obviously, it is an invasion, because they're not only coming here into the country illegally, but they are also, the migrants, they're also expecting free housing, free food, free medical services, and a lot of other free stuff, things that I've talked about a lot on this channel. Phil writes, I like your civility and input. Phil, that's the whole point, Phil. I have many friends who don't agree with me, who don't agree with my political views, and they like me as a person, and I like them because I like their personality, I like who they are, but I don't agree with their political views. So we can disagree and we can still get along, and that's how it should be. We should be able to disagree, and then we should still get along, and we should still be able to exercise our free speech, right? That's important. um, let's see. Badger Den writes about Cash Jordan, so thank you for sharing that information, Badger Den. And Badger Den, really, your input and your comments are always appreciated. And so Badger Den, I mean, you're from New York, so and so you are seeing a lot of these issues in your own state, in your own city. So obviously, we really value your input, Badger Den, because you are in New York. You're seeing what's going on. You can see it with your own eyes. So thank you for sharing all that with us. Jack writes, the humans have rules. And yeah, absolutely. We are a society of law and order and rules, right? And so there's we have a constitution, we have a proper role of government, but now we can see that a lot of the politicians in power, especially in New York and Chicago, the left-wing politicians, they are going beyond their authority, and they are doing things that are not in the best interest of their constituents, right? A lot of people in New York, in Chicago, are homeless or at risk of homelessness. They are suffering because of food insecurity, and they're seeing that their tax dollars are being spent on the migrants, and that's not fair, and that's bad governance. Terry Brait writes, "You got it, Jack." Um, and Terry Brait is talking about invasion at the southern border. Phil writes, "Are you sure you live in Florida?" If you so okay, I guess that question is not addressed to me. It's addressed to Jack. Um, let's see. All right, I'm trying to address all the comments, but I may miss a few, so forgive me if I miss addressing any comments here. So Badger Den is writing about another individual who covers the migrant crisis just about every day. So thank you for that information, Badger Den. I'm going to remember that name, and I will look that person up on YouTube. Terry Brait seems to be familiar with that individual whose name Badger Den just mentioned. All right. So Terry Brait is talking about 2017 and what would have happened if Hillary would have been elected. I'm so glad that Hillary was not elected. We had great few years with Trump in office, and I hope he comes back in 2025. Let's see. So we're talking about TikTok here now. We don't know what Congress is going to do, what the U.S. Senate is going to do about TikTok. So we will have to wait and see. There are people both for and against the TikTok ban. So no comments on that yet. I have to do a little bit more research on it. I haven't spent much time. I have heard from people. I understand what the arguments for and against are regarding banning TikTok. But I don't feel prepared enough to comment on that just yet. Badger Den writes, they are refusing to pay taxes in New York City. Companies are leaving and Dollar Tree is closing stores. So yes, we hear a lot about companies that are closing their stores, that are closing locations, that are closing factories. And this is happening. It's a real problem. And it's not just the big names. It's not just the big corporations. There are many small businesses in our communities. So those coffee shops, those small restaurants, family-owned restaurants, those boutiques, those hardware stores, and small businesses in our communities, the flower shops. You can see, if you pay attention to what's going on in your city, in your state, you'll see that many businesses in our communities are closing just because they cannot keep up with the rising cost of doing business. They And because inflation is so bad that a lot of people are cutting back on their spending. They are not spending as I mean, they don't have money to spend. They are struggling to buy their essentials like groceries. They are struggling to pay rent. They are struggling to pay mortgage. So they don't have time for going out and having a nice meal at a restaurant. They don't have time. They don't have the opportunity to buy some new clothes. They just repair the old clothes. Um, and so a lot of people, a lot of families are cutting back on spending just because they don't have money, because their essentials now cost a lot more. And so as a result, a lot of economic activity is not taking place. And so businesses are suffering, and a lot of businesses are closing. And also businesses have to pay rent. They have to pay for keeping the lights on. And so utility costs have gone up, and businesses have to pay a lot of other costs associated with running business, and there's so much of government regulation. So altogether, I think with Biden being in office, the overall economic environment is just not friendly for businesses, which is another way of saying it is not friendly for hardworking Americans. And so a lot of big businesses are laying people off, and a lot of small businesses are also closing. Let's see. Uh, Badger Den, I see Badger Den's comment about Dollar Tree. Phil writes, if it gets banned, then YouTube would be next, then Facebook, etc., etc. It's an attack on the First Amendment. So I have heard that argument, Phil, and like I said, I do have thoughts on this issue. I'm not prepared to properly share that yet, because I still feel like I have to learn a little bit more and think a little bit more about that issue regarding TikTok. And so, maybe I'll talk about it in the future, but not on this live stream. Jack writes, see you, my friend. Thank you, thank you for joining, Jack. I appreciate it very, very much. And I hope you can stay connected and come back and for more live streams. And, happy birthday to your wife, Anita. Wishing you both all the very best. Terry writes, I think people are not clear on the TikTok legislation. I think, Terry, you are right. People will have to study that a little bit more. We have to understand what exactly is going to happen. And I think for lawyers, it might be an easier task because they are familiar with the laws. They can probably understand some of the consequences of this legislation, both for and against. But I'm not a lawyer, and I do have thoughts on this legislation, but I'm not 100% prepared to share it yet. So no comments on the TikTok issue on this live stream. Hopefully in the future. All right. So my friends, let me just see one thing here. All right. So it's just wonderful to see that some new viewers are here. Obviously, Jack said, "See you tomorrow, my friend," and Jack left. But Phil is new to this channel, as Phil indicated, and so it's wonderful to see that more people are joining this channel. They're tuning in for the live stream. So please help me spread my word. Help me reach more people, because I like to have exchange of information. I like to have a dialogue on this channel. This channel is about free speech, my friends, and so help me reach more people. And I would love to see people from all 50 states get connected to this channel. Wouldn't that be awesome? That'd be awesome. All right. Let's see. I see more people have joined. Please, as you're joining, write something in the chat window. If you are new, if you are here for the first time, introduce yourself. Write what state you're from. Say something. Ask me a question. You can ask me a question, and I'll give you an honest answer. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you. Like regarding TikTok, I just said I think I know what my views are. I have some thoughts on this issue, but I'm not prepared to share it just yet. So I'll be honest with you. If I don't know the answer, or if I think I should wait a little bit more before I give an answer, I'll let you know that. And this conversation will continue. Let's see. Initially, I wasn't planning on doing this live stream today, but as my friend Terry knows, I just thought, you know what, I need to have this conversation. I need to share my thoughts, especially after this eclipse. I have so many things I need to share, and so that's why I'm doing it. All right, let's see. Let's see who's here. All right. So my friends, we are past the 1 hour 6 minute time marks. Do you have any more questions for me? What did you think about the eclipse? How many of you saw the eclipse? Terry, I can't understand what your comment is. I'm looking at the comments. This chat group is your best medicine. Oh, okay. Is that what you're writing? This chat group is my best medicine. You know, isn't that awesome? If having conversations and if interacting with people, if sharing my views and my thoughts, and if listening to people, if having a dialogue can make us feel better, that should be the best medicine, right? Terry Brait writes, it was overcast, but still could see the outline of the moon and sun real good with the special glasses on. That's wonderful, Terry Brait. Glad you could enjoy the eclipse. It was basically a sick day for me because I wasn't feeling well since early in the morning, but I'm much better now. Terry writes, it was cloudy and rained here. Rain was much needed. So rain in South Dakota. It was rainy in South Dakota. So Terry, do you know that the next eclipse, based on something I saw on the internet, in 2044, it's going to be over Montana, South Dakota, and North Dakota. So Terry Brait writes, sun was about 75% covered in New Mexico at its peak. Wow, that's pretty good. 75%. I think people had a really great time in Indianapolis, right? And then in Mexico, people really enjoyed the eclipse in Mexico, I think. Terry writes, yeah, I'll be so old I won't know it. No, Terry, you're still going to be very sharp in 2044, okay? And you're going to enjoy the eclipse. Yeah. You never know the future, Terry. You may be just as strong as you are now. And then, you can think about the conversations we're having now in 20 years. And you can think about the 2024 eclipse and just see, oh my God, how did 20 years go by in the wink of an eye? And here we are in 2044, and the eclipse is in South Dakota. Wouldn't that be awesome? So most of the eclipse, I think, in 2044 is going to be over Canada. So Canada is going to have a great time. I'm sure a lot of American tourists are going to go to Canada in 20 years just to see the eclipse. I'm sure there are people who are making plans already. Terry writes, okay, but you have to come see it. Terry, I'm going to be in my 50s. If if I'm alive and in good health, I'm going to be in my 50s in 2044. Okay? So you see all this gray hair, okay? There's not going to be any dark hair left. It's going to be all gray in 20 years. Hopefully, I'll still have hair. I'm hoping I'm not going to go bald. I don't know. I usually have very thick hair. But you never know. And if I have the hair, it's going to be all gray. I mean, all white. It'll be all white. It's not even going to be gray. It'll be just all white. So that's how old I'm going to be. I'll try to keep up with the exercises and with a healthy diet, and the rest is God's will. So hopefully I'll be in good health, but who knows, right? I'll try my best. I always try to stay in shape and to eat healthy. Every now and then I feel like eating like some fast food, but I have cut back on fast food. And it's been like this for a few years. I'm trying to eat more healthy, okay? More veggies. I do enjoy sweets, though. I enjoy having sweets. So, that's something I'm going to have to try to cut back on. All right, let's see. I think it's going to be great, in 2044. It'll be really awesome. And the kids and the little children who experience the eclipse this time, they're going to be, strong adults. So like a 10-year-old is going to be 30-year-old. Wouldn't that be awesome to be able to say, hey, when I was 10 years old, I watched the eclipse, and here we are, 2044. I'm now 30 years old, and I'm looking forward to another eclipse. That's going to be awesome. And Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, those states are going to have tremendous number of tourists visiting. It'll be great for the economy there, no doubt. Terry writes, next U.S. eclipse here, 2044, just around pheasant season, August. That's awesome. It's best to look forward to it. But, I'm probably going to have the same mindset that I had this time. I could have just driven down south to go watch it. I did not. I could have gone to Indiana. It's not that far, but I did not. I could have just gone outside to look up to see the partial eclipse here in Madison, Wisconsin, but I chose not to. So in 2044, I don't have any problem visiting South Dakota. But I don't know if I'll be watching the eclipse. Probably not. I have this strong feeling that I should not watch the eclipse. Okay? I don't, like, spiritually, I don't see it as a very positive thing, to be honest with you. Okay? Just spiritually speaking. And this is just one of those things. People have their beliefs. So I enjoy seeing people enjoy the eclipse. So I'm happy for all those who had a great time. And I'm happy for all the states that got a lot of new revenue because of eclipse tourism. And I'm happy for all the businesses that sold a lot of goods and food and lots of different things because of the eclipse tourism. They got a lot of business. They're going to make great profit. So I'm happy because of all of that. I'm glad to see that people from around the world came to the U.S. to see the eclipse. And so obviously that's a good thing for our U.S. economy. But personally, if you ask me, I chose not to see the eclipse. And so my decision may be the same in 2044 if I'm alive and well then. Okay, I'll be in my 50s. Okay, I may have more wrinkles and stuff on my face, but that's okay. Growing old is a blessing. If people live long enough to grow old, and to be able to talk about all the things learned from life, I think that's a blessing. I read Plato's Republic, and in Plato's Republic, towards the beginning, there's a conversation about old age and how it can be a blessing. I don't remember the exact words, but maybe next time I'll grab the book. It's somewhere on my shelf. JW is here. JW writes, sorry I joined late. I got to see the eclipse good in Ohio today. It was pretty cool. Nothing spiritual to me. Just need to see it. Awesome, JW. Glad that you got to see it. Now, JW, what city are you in? I know you're in Ohio, but what city? Are you in Cleveland or Cincinnati? Where did you see the eclipse from? Did you have to travel, or did you see it in your own city? I know that Southern Illinois was really busy. Carbondale, really busy, full of people. Kent, okay, Kent. All right, I'm gonna look up Kent, Ohio, on the map here. So is that where you live, near Kent State University? I see that on a map. I see that on a map. JW writes it's between Cleveland, Akron. Okay, Akron. I don't know how to pronounce it. I know the place, but I just okay. So yeah, so from Madison, Wisconsin, Kent, Ohio is about 8 hours away. So 513 miles. That's the shortest route. The route that has tolls. You can probably tell that my throat is not 100%, right? I think I need some honey for my throat. All right. Okay, Kent. Yeah, Kent. I see where Kent is. I really want to go to Cleveland. And then, enjoy maybe Sandusky. Sandusky, Ohio is beautiful, right? I haven't been there, but I know Sandusky is beautiful. All right. And, I want to go to Sandusky and Cleveland and just enjoy the big lake there. JW writes, drink lemon honey tea, honey lemon tea. Exactly, JW. That's what I want to do. And I forgot to buy honey when I was at the store. So I'm out of honey right now. And so I'm going to have to go buy it hopefully tomorrow. I do have lemon. I have lime. Anyway. All right. So I'm going to remember to buy some honey tomorrow. Some pure honey. JW writes, don't you guys have Nike lake areas in Wisconsin? Many awesome lakes, okay? So Lake Michigan, obviously, it's so awesome. And Milwaukee is not far. If you want to enjoy Lake Michigan in Wisconsin, you just go to Milwaukee. And Milwaukee is just 90 miles. So it's not too far. You just get up in the car on the highway, go straight to Milwaukee. It takes about less than, it's like maybe 1 hour 30 minutes. I don't even keep track of how long it takes for me to go to Milwaukee, because I just get in the car, listen to some music, and you're in Milwaukee. So it takes about 1 hour 15 minutes to get to Milwaukee. Depending on traffic, it could take 1 hour 30 minutes. So yes, we do have Lake Michigan. And in Madison, where I live, we have one of the most beautiful lakes, Lake Mendota. I mean, I have a special connection with Lake Mendota. I don't have that connection with any other lake anywhere else. Lake Mendota is special to me. Look up Lake Mendota, Mendota, Mendota. In Madison, Lake Mendota. It is so beautiful. It's just by the campus, the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus. So I have lots of memories, every day going to class, walking on the campus, looking at Lake Mendota. And, when I went to college library, which is the Helen C. White Library, from the library, it's right next to the lake. And then Memorial Union Terrace, where you can hang out in the summer. Beautiful terrace on campus. and you can, enjoy the lake. You can see people swimming. You can see families gathering and students having a great time. There are boats on the lake, and there are concerts, evening concerts. So you're by the lake enjoying concert. People are dancing. It's just most beautiful. And then we have Lake Monona, which is just really awesome. And then there's another small lake, Lake Wingra, and these are just the lakes in the Madison area. And there's Lake Wabesa, I think it's pronounced. My pronunciations are a little different because I grew up in Bangladesh, so some of the words that I pronounce are different from how a native Wisconsinite would say it. And so there's Lake Kegonsa. We also have the river here in Wisconsin, the Rock River and other rivers. And then just throughout Wisconsin, there are so many lakes, big and small. I don't even know how many there are, just way too many. Okay. Terry writes, have you taken a pontoon ride on the lake in Madison? I have not. I have not. I have been on a boat on Lake Geneva in Walworth County in Wisconsin, and that is an awesome lake. And you know what's special about that lake is that in Lake Geneva, right on the shore of the lake, there are some really expensive houses and some mansions, historic mansions on Lake Geneva. So Lake Geneva is really awesome, and I have been on Lake Geneva by boat. I have not been on a boat in on Lake Mendota. Haven't been on a boat on Lake Monona, but I've, I, there was a time when I saw those lakes every single day, right? I still drive by those lakes all the time, and Lake Mendota is just a few minutes from where I live. Just get up in the car, and in 10 minutes you're gonna be 10 or 15 minutes you're gonna be in the campus area if you're driving through the city. And if I take the Beltline highway, it's even faster. Mm, Terry writes, City Rec provides them. That's good to know. Yeah, I know there are so many opportunities to be on a boat on the lake. I just haven't done it. So my preferred way of enjoying the lake is to sit by a waterfront restaurant, or in the case of Lake Mendota, to sit on the Memorial Union Terrace and just to have some good food, to have some nice beverage, and to just see the lake. Enjoy seeing the lake. I don't have to swim. I don't have to be on a boat. I can just be on the shore, sitting somewhere nice and comfortable, enjoying the breeze, enjoying the lake. That's how I enjoy it. JW writes, I believe there are some ones up north that have really clear water where it looks almost tropical. Yeah, the up north in Wisconsin, very popular. A lot of people who live in southern Wisconsin, they have cabins up north, um, where they go and enjoy their cabins. They have properties up north. Up north, a lot of people have houses on lakes, so they go there. They enjoy the lake. Um, they enjoy camping. They enjoy spending time with families, and the water is really nice there. Terry writes, you're such a city boy. Terry, I grew up in a city of 22 million people in Dhaka, Bangladesh. You look it up on the internet, Dhaka, Bangladesh, one of the most densely populated city in the world. In Dhaka, the population is 22, and I'm rounding up the number, it may be more, 22 million people. So obviously I am a city person. I have lived in the city of Dhaka, um, into my adulthood. So I was born in Dhaka. I grew up in Dhaka. I became an adult in Dhaka city. So I am definitely a big city person. But now I live in a pretty moderately sized city. I mean, Madison is not too big, not too small. JW writes, okay, I looked it up. It's Schoolhouse Beach in Washington, Wisconsin. Let me see. Schoolhouse Beach, Washington. So you're talking about Washington Island, Schoolhouse Beach Park? Yep, Washington Island. So you're talking about yeah. So you're talking about Washington Island, which is yeah, it's an island. It's a beautiful place. I have been to Door County, okay, but I have not been to Washington Island. Maybe this summer. Um, yeah. So I have been to Door County. I'm actually supposed to be going to Door County here in a few weeks, but I have not been to Washington Island. Um, looks JW writes looks almost tropical, really clear water. Yeah, JW is surprised to hear 22 million. That is correct. 22 million people. That's the city where I grew up. Now that's the current population, 22 million. Maybe like when I was born, it was less, but still, it was a very big city, and now it's 22 million people. So yeah, Terry Brait writes, gotta go later, y'all. Terry Bray, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And please tell your friends about my channel. Help me get more people. Thank you, Terry Bray. I always appreciate you joining. Thank you so very much. JW writes, I can't even imagine living somewhere that crowded. Oh, it is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. Check it out. Look up Dhaka. There are lots of YouTubers. So YouTubers from Canada, YouTubers from America, YouTubers from Europe, people from the West who go to Dhaka and they make travel videos. They go to the nice, expensive restaurants, the 5-star places, and they also go to all the street side food places. They see all kinds of things. They check out the historic places in Dhaka. They check out the monuments. They check out the luxuries in Dhaka, as well as some areas that are facing a lot of poverty. So you'll see different kinds of travel videos and documentaries about Dhaka on YouTube. So you can look it up. All right. There are some food. If you wanna see the fun side of Dhaka, check out some of the food vlogs. These food vloggers who travel around the world and they go to different places and they check out all different kinds of restaurants and cultural and traditional dishes, as well as street food. You can look those up. You can probably just spend hours going through those videos. Anyway. But yeah, some people love Dhaka. Obviously, it's a big city. There's a lot to see and to do. But I don't like the traffic. Trust me, I don't like the traffic. And I am an American, so this is my home, Madison, Wisconsin. And so, I left Dhaka. I left Bangladesh in 2007, and I'm an American. This is home. So I love it here. All right, let's see. So yeah, JW, have you ever been to Wisconsin? If you come to Wisconsin, please visit Madison and also check out Lake Geneva. And if you go up to Door County to Washington Island, I'm sure you'll have a great time there. Let's see. So I see that we're getting close to the 1 hour 30-minute mark. I'm happy to continue this longer. I love spending time here. I don't have much to do after this, so I'll continue. And there's a lot to talk about, obviously. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I've been meaning to go to Chicago. And I just have been delaying. I want to go to Chicago, but I'm afraid that the city is going through so much of crisis that I'm like, is it the best time to go to Chicago? I mean, it's just like, it's so close. Let's see. JW writes, no, I haven't been there. Used to go to Chicago area for work, but never to Wisconsin. Hopefully one of these days. So many places to visit. Absolutely. The best time to visit would be summer. You can also visit in the fall. Uh, the fall, you know, the fall, uh, the colors, the leaves, the fall colors. If you go to Sauk County, Wisconsin, and some places up in northern Wisconsin, Sauk County is in the southern part of the state, but if you go up to some of the northern areas, you get to see very beautiful fall colors. JW writes, "Oh, I'd be too afraid to go to Chicago right now." Yeah, see, I am from such a big city, and Dhaka has a lot of crime, obviously. So I understand the big city life, but now after living in Madison, Wisconsin for so many years, I'm like, I think twice about going to Chicago. It's like, oh my God, there's so much of crime going on all the time. Do I really want to go there? But Chicago is a great city. It's just that the liberal politicians have completely destroyed the greatness of Chicago, and such economic mismanagement is really causing a lot of pain and suffering for the people of Chicago. So I hope that Chicago residents will start voting for conservatives and really turn the city around and put it on the right path towards growth and prosperity. JW writes, but does Dhaka have the type of violent crime that Chicago has? Dhaka has a lot of violent crime. There's a lot of theft, a lot of mugging, a lot of robbery, homicides. Yeah, Dhaka has a lot of problems. Any big city that you think of in South Asia, in Asia, will have problems. And so, yeah, there are problems in Dhaka also. JW writes, I hope Chicago can make a comeback also. Yeah, I hope that Chicago will elect good leaders for a better future. My friends, I'm live streaming from my cell phone today, and my battery is running very low because I've been here for like 1 hour and more than 1 hour 30 minutes. So I'm going to be concluding this live stream. Thank you all for joining. JW, thank you for joining. Terry Brait was here. Thanks to Terry Brait. My friend Terry Dunlap from South Dakota. And then Phil, who's a new viewer, also joined. And then Jack was here, a new viewer. And then Badger Den. I always appreciate Badger Den joining. And there were others, maybe. And there were others who probably did not participate in the chat window. Oh, we also had Zena, a cat 007 and Zena. Thank you both. And then who else? Maybe there were others. Anyone I missed? So if I missed mentioning your name, I apologize. But thank you all for joining. And please stay connected to my channel. And watch my videos and stay tuned for future live streams. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. I'm concluding this live stream, but I'll be back with more content. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, my friends.